Hi there everybody, Peter of England. Yesterday I produced a video for you. Today, with 3 days to go to the United States presidential election, I thought I would try and stay current and try and do one video a day up into the event. Someone sent me notification yesterday that in effect Pimpy's Investment channel on YouTube, I don't know the exact reference, had picked up part of my previous video when I was talking about the potential for a hard military coup against Donald Trump. So as it's very prescient, as it's very newsworthy right now, I think I would now like to just extend that for those people, particularly in the United States, not so much in the rest of the world at the moment, who don't seem to have much of a working knowledge of United States politics. But for those in the United States who want to push down on this further and see the degree of subterfuge, the degree of treason, the degree of duplicity, and the degree of pure criminality and cronyism that was your judicial and your administrative and legal system and politics system in the United States, this gives you some insight into what's been going on. So first of all, take a pen or have a look at the description down below, and what you want to look at is a website called defense1.com. Defense, and that's not the numeral one, it's the word one, so all one word, defense1.com. So go on to that website. It's a military site, lots of postings by military personnel, both current and previous. And one of the things that was mentioned on Pimpy's channel was the open letter to Gen.Milley, who is the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which was encouraging people in the military to form a coup, a hard coup against Donald Trump if he doesn't leave the White House one way or the other on the 19th/20th of January 2021. Now, for those of you who were a little bit lazy and don't want to dig into what else was on that website, I'm going to read to you some of the other letters that you might wish to go and have a look at to see the degree to which this democratic, democratic machine is preparing to do things to the Constitution of the United States and to you particularly, no matter what. So there's various scenarios that have been touched on. I'll cover those in a minute, but the first one you should look at, type into the little search bar at the top of that website, is where the system may break. So type that in. Maybe you can just type it into Google, you'll still get the same result. It's by a guy called David Frum. It was an article dated August the 2nd, 2020, and they go through something called the Transition Integrity Project. So the Transition Integrity Project in effect is a new world order, Rockefeller, Rothschild, Khazarian, Zionist gameplay scenario to find out the best way for them to get back in power and to get people like Donald Trump and the white-hatted military out. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because that's not the purpose of this video. So that's one you need to go and look at, and I'll just you don't need to do a close-up, but I will just show it. David Frum on defense1.com. The letter that was already referred to is entitled All Enemies, Foreign and Domestic, an open letter to Gen.Milley. Might need to go and have a look at that because it openly talks about treason against the incumbent democratically elected president of the United States. And in addition to that, there is one of the most interesting role play scenarios, and that's called 6 scenarios for military intervention after January the 20th. That's by a guy called Thomas Crosbie. That was August 18th, 2020. And just to give you an overview of what they talk about, they go through the 6 scenarios. The 6 scenarios come to mind in which the military may nevertheless reasonably be forced to act in contravention of all law and good order in order to ensure that law and good order are restored. So basically they're saying anyone that supports Donald Trump and Donald Trump in the White House and in his administration is contrary to law and good order. How can that be in sight of what you know they have been up to for the last 50 years in your political regime or junta that's been controlled? So, scenario 1 for intervention. If Biden is perceived as having won and is sworn in by legitimate authorities, but the passage of executive authority, in inverted commas, and the nuclear football is not acknowledged by the federal agencies or some faction therein, if they don't play ball with the democratic machine. Scenario 2. If Biden is incapacitated and someone else is sworn in over the objections of Trump and his allies, questioning the passage of executive authority. Scenario 3. Trump may be sworn in as a stopgap measure. Here, the integrity of the democratic process will be sacrificed in order to mitigate damage to the Constitution, but the red line will be pushed back. Scenario 4. Trump may maintain de facto power and dispense with the symbolic act of being reinstated, in effect denying that a breach of the 20th Amendment took place. Scenarios 3 and 4. In particular, a danger that Trump will be emboldened by his de facto coup and will follow his usual method of slowly degrading institutions. He will replace democratic loyalists with his own allies, gradually gaining control of the federal agencies through appointments, forced retirements, and firings, just as the Democrats have done over the last 15 to 20 years in a stacking of not only the Supreme Court, the stacking of the FBI, the CIA, FEMA, and all other federal agencies. All they're doing there is mirroring back what they have already done. If they say it's black, then it's white. If they say they're doing good, they mean just the opposite. Scenario 5. Trump takes active steps to suspend the normal functions of government through a manipulation of the War Powers Act, Insurrection Act, or some other seemingly lawful order. Notice what they say, seemingly lawful. Scenario 6. Trump uses loyal security agencies to commit acts of violence and intimidation in a traditional bloody coup. This is the worst of all outcomes, but seems least likely of all. And here military intervention would, in all cases, or in all likelihood, be authorized by Congress. In all 6 scenarios, the military has a role it can choose to play or not play in the following. So, in effect, that's really what you need to go and look at. They speak in terms of getting him out no matter what. And I say, it's going to be very, very bumpy no matter what happens, because Biden is nothing more than a stalking horse. Kamala Harris is there possibly as a danger and predestined to take over from him because he would be incapacitated almost from day one. But it looks like they're going to try and force Donald Trump out of the White House. So, more exciting news to come. I'll try and do another video before the date of the election. So, subscribe, press the notification button, do all the usual things, circulate the video, and Peter of England signing off.